board to just simply summarize what we are dealing with in this particular item number 15. It has an annualized cost of $350,000, but it is money well spent if in fact we were to appropriate such. This is to offer an incentive paid to police trainees in the way of $2,500 when they complete the police academy, and subsequent they will pass their state required TCOS training. They get the other $2,500. So a total of $5,000 for a police cadet when they complete basically their entry into the Houston Police Department, the full-fledged officer. Short way of saying it. Why is it necessary? Currently, a probationary Houston police officer or a police cadet, Houston receives about $35,000 a year, a probationary officer, about $35,000 in Houston, compared to San Antonio, about $47,000, compared to Dallas, about $45,000, compared to Austin, about $56,000. So you can see that Houston is way behind the curve when it comes to where they need to be. So I commend, I see Joe in the audience, I saw him someplace out there, and Chief McClellan, thanks for bringing this forward. I asked my colleagues to fully support it because our officers are at least $10,000. I'm talking about probationary officers now. At least that's why we're having a difficult time getting officers in the academy. As an example, last month we had a police cadet class start, and we would like to have about 70 to 75 cadets in each class. We were only able to put 32 cadets in that class, so we have to start the class anyway. So there were about 46 that are empty, and we have to do the same training, but you have 30 or 70, so we're actually utilizing some resources we're not getting the best bang for. So going forward, we have to do something, I think, to get that entry level paid up from $35,000 to be more comfortable with the $56,000 that they're paying in Austin and $45,000 in Dallas. So these are dollars well spent, and I appreciate Chief McClellan and his staff for bringing this forward. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Costello.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I want to echo the sentiments of Councilmember Bradford. In my private practice, we do this quite often when we're trying to recruit people, that we do have to have some type of incentive to your office in order to be competitive in the market. The one concern I have is that the RCA did not have where the money was coming from and how much total it was going to be, but I noticed that the write-up from the police department is $350,000 as a max. But they're actually asking for the finance department to increase their budget by that amount, but where is that money coming from? No one has told us quite yet where it's coming from. Is it coming from the reserve balance? Is it coming from someone else's budget? That's what I'm curious about. Can the administration help me out with that?
Let us try to find out. Councilmember, we have a few more. We have a few more in the queue, so we'll see if we
Okay,
can.
so in the interim, if we don't have any information, I'm going to probably tag the item until I know where the money's coming from.
Okay, we'll try to track something.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Boykins.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to make a little comment. I'm very much appreciative to the passion we have for our friends at the police department. I'm a big fan, a big supporter, and I will always be there for them. But I think I wish under the mindset of public safety that we take the same commitment and passion towards the fire department on issues. I'm not saying it's the same issue. I'm not saying that it's an apple and an orange right now, but in terms of our commitment to public safety, I think we need to look at public safety across the board. And, lately every issue of the fire department has been, cutting this and cutting that, and now we're talking about promoting and finding extra revenue. I agree with Councilmember Costello. I would like to see where the money is coming from. Public safety used to be a high priority, and I just think we need to treat public safety across the board the same. That's a general comment.
Councilmember, I'm happy to answer the question. As I expect all department directors to manage within the budget they are given, Chief McClellan came to me with this item, and he reprioritized within the department and decided that this was a higher priority from other spending. So he's not getting extra money, he's reprioritizing his budget.
And Mayor, I agree. I'm not disputing. I wish we could give them $10,000. They deserve it. I'm just saying, I just wish from public safety, we beat up the fire, I didn't. The fire department felt like they were beat up, and I just think we need to treat public safety across the board the same.
Whether they are a chief of police or a chief of the fire department or the public works director or the solid waste director, every department director is expected to manage within the budget they are given. And this directly answers Councilman Costello's question. It was reprioritized within the existing police budget. Councilmember Pennington.
Mayor, I was just going to call attention to the responses from the HPD, item number 2, which talked about the money coming out of the 15 general fund budget. And I guess that's what you're saying, that it's a zero-based budget, but they do expect to reallocate the funds next year, which I think is when the first funds are due. Thank you.
Councilmember Wright, I'm sorry I didn't follow the comment. I didn't hear you exactly.
Well, if
There
you
was a
look
question,
at,
there was a question in there, I think.
no question. I'm just kind of trying to be responsive to Mr. Costello, and that the money, as I understand it, will come out of next year's budget. Not.
No, sir, it's actually in this year's budget, but they expect that the program will continue into next year, and they intend to.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Pratt.
Thank you, Mayor. That's all I was going to reiterate, that simply Chief McClellan has done in my job an exemplary job here, prioritizing the needs in the department and made a decision that, look, if you start in a class with 32 cadets, if you have a 70 capacity, you should do something very differently, and that's what he's done here. This is really a good move. Not truly, as has been said, when this FY15 budget comes forward, we get to make a decision whether we're going to, advance those funds further. It will be wise for us to continue this particular strategy in that I've cited a $35,000 entry level salary versus $56,000 and $47,000. So we have to do something to keep it comparable. And this is a move that Chief McClellan is doing within his budget this cycle. There's a class starting on June 9th that he's trying to get ready for. I think this is a smart move, and I've asked my colleagues to roll with it. Thank you.
And I know that there were a set of FAQs that were distributed to council, and it is not currently in the 2015 budget. They have requested to be added, but at this point, it is not. Councilmember Costello.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for the clarity. I do appreciate that, and I do appreciate holding our departments to their budgets, just like we did with the fire department. And I agree this is a good program. The one thing I would ask the command staff is that sometimes you do not get recruits based on salary. Sometimes it's issues relative to qualifications. And I would like to know if the command staff is actually taking some time to look at the minimum standards before they hire somebody to see if they want to change some of those as well. So I encourage the command staff to do that.
Councilmember, I believe that they review those on a routine and periodic basis, and we believe that the high standards we maintain for our police department are appropriate to maintain the quality policing across the city. But we have had to, over the years, review things like visible tattoos, issues of past drug use when someone was a teenager. Those kinds of rules have changed as the work rate has changed. Councilmember Martin.
Yes, Mayor, just a curiosity question follow-up to comments by Councilmember Williams. Assuming the step one starting salary for Houston Police Department is $35, what would that be to Houston Fire Department? Do you have any idea? Does anybody know? Starting salary for a similar, because you brought up a good point. So, true relocation.
Yeah, I don't know what the
Okay.
salary is. And they are both determined by contract.
Right, got it.
Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, ma'am. And I just want to piggyback off Councilman Costello and Councilman Bradford. I didn't think about this until then. So what are the other alternatives on what we trying to provide to move more people besides just the money? Do we have somewhat of a feeder pattern from law enforcement or local universities or militaries or something like that that would help funnel people to our police department?
We recruit wherever we can, and actually in the last few years, the military has been a significant source of recruits.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Gonzalez.
Thank you, and I think the challenge, council member, is that with improved economy, there's better jobs available out there that pay much better, so many times they just are funneled in a different direction just because it's a career choice. Should be noted as well that this is considered to be a one-time event for now. They'll obviously assess it going forward, but obviously there's a need just in terms of drawing more recruits. It was utilized successfully back in 2008 and 2009, and at the time, the incentive amount was $12,000, so this is significantly less than that, but obviously the chief feels that this will be sufficient to draw additional recruits, so like the others around the table, I'm supporting.
Further discussion? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. Favoring? Opposed? Carries.